Scrum is a framework within which people can address complex adaptive problems, while productively and creatively delivering products of the highest possible value. Whizible's new Scrum module facilitates to execute projects using the Scrum methodology, and at the same time derive custom metrics. In Scrum, all the inputs, feature enhancements, changes or defects are lined up and logged into the product backlog. The product owner prioritizes the backlog items as per the vision. A sprint planning meeting is conducted, and during the sprint planning meeting, the product owner describes the highest priority features to the team. The team selects the product backlog items, usually in the form of user stories, estimates story points and identifies tasks necessary to complete each user story. The team plans a sprint, which is time-boxed. During the execution of the sprint, test defects can be logged and tracked. In the daily stand-ups, Scrum board can be updated for the completed user stories in the sprint. Whizible facilitates all Scrum activities. During a sprint, the system automatically captures data for metrics from planned tasks, defects logged and task progress updates from the Scrum team. This information is stored in the system as a snapshot on regular intervals and used by the quality team for analysis. Product backlog is simply a list of all things that needs to be done within the project. It replaces the traditional requirements specification artifacts. These items can have a technical nature or can be user-centric. The owner of the product backlog is the product owner. The product owner can add to the product backlog list directly or on the category. Using drag and drop, the product owner can categorize horizontally and set priority by moving the user story vertically. The product owner can add custom categories to the product backlog on the go. The user stories can also be imported from an Excel file in 3 easy steps. The product owner has to just map the Excel columns to the user story columns in Whizible. Select the file to upload. Click Process to view and verify the import and click Upload Data. And the user stories are created in the backlog. Sprint planning is a collaborative effort involving a Scrum Master, who facilitates the meeting, a product owner, who clarifies the details of the product backlog items and their respective acceptance criteria, and the entire Scrum team, who define the work and effort necessary to meet their sprint. Once the story point estimation for the user stories is done, the team can create and select the sprint to plan. The team can pick user stories prioritized by the product owner and move them to the sprint on the right. When everything is finalized and the sprint has to be started, the team can click on Start Sprint. Detailed tasks are planned for the user stories in the sprint. The team log actual time for these tasks in the timesheet and update the daily progress. Updates on these tasks are used to derive the Burndown's chart and sprint backlog that is used for tracking. The sprint backlog is a list of tasks identified by the Scrum team, which have to be completed during the sprint. In the sprint backlog view, the team gets a visual of the tasks is directly linked to a particular user story, and vice versa. The team can search and click on the user story to view the related tasks. To move through the stages, the team can select and place tasks to their appropriate stage. A Scrum board is a tool that helps teams make sprint backlog items visible. The board can take many physical and virtual forms, but it performs the same function regardless of how it looks. The board is updated by the team and shows all items that need to be completed for the current sprint. Whizible Scrum Board provides a feature where the team can add custom statuses and move the user story cards from one status to another. The visual display also shows the percentage of progress in each stage. This helps the team to monitor their work. The project dashboard is a cockpit overview of the project's performance so far. The first chart is the Burndown, which shows planned and remaining effort at each level, like user story, sprint or release. The pie chart shows the percentage status of the user stories from the product backlog. The next column chart shows when and how many user stories have moved in and out of the sprint. The following list shows risks identified in the project. And last but not the least, a status summary of current sprint. Similar to the project dashboard, the sprint dashboard is where you can track the progress of your sprints. The overall sprint progress shows the number of user stories and story points and different statuses like to do, in progress and completed. The next chart is the current sprint burndown. The column chart shows number of user stories in the current sprint by category. The task board column chart shows number of tasks open, delayed and completed in each user story. There are other charts that the team can track, like count of impediment or issues, top 5 team members, activity log, focus factor and effort planned and actual for the sprint. Thank you for watching. Hope you liked it. For more information, call us or find us on Whizible.com.